I was quite hyped seeing this game pop up as a full release. This is going to be a positive review, but mainly positive as in A for effort. It has amazing amount of potential and takes the game from one side of the gaming spectrum to a whole different side. Command your army in RTS style is switched to first or third person view with the push of a button. Initially I was going to just make a let's play, but I always check out if the game runs and so on. I like to play on my TV, which has a bit weird pixel ratio and somehow not all games support this. So trying to get that pixel ratio selected was quite a task already. The scroll bar to the side did the opposite of what I expected to do, and only scrolling with the mouse wheel seems to work. So instead I'll show you how to play the game and give an honest review about my experience so far. First, the tutorial. I had two separate crashes during this tutorial. At one point the game just closed entirely without a warning, and the second time the progression of the tutorial halted, allowing me to move around and suddenly restarted the quest, freezing my option during combat, forcing me to reload the game. The tutorial itself is by far the most annoying tutorial I've ever played in my life. Every step you take, the game pauses to show you a pop-up with tips. This goes on for at least 15 minutes. They do have a perfect overlay on the side where they can post their hints, and they often do further in, but for some reason it is decided to make starting through the tutorial me drop all care for the story or the mission. Finally got through the tutorial and can play myself, so let's start about the positive things, and they are actually many. So we start on this tile-based world map, familiar from games as Civilization, and you can pretty much build on each tile, but some of the tiles are protected by enemies. However, each tile can be visited and explored with tons of caves, structures, monsters and loot. This reminds me of actually Uncharted Waters Online, where you could just land on the side of a country and explore it and find bandits and attack them. Of course, this has the added bonus that you bring an entire army. Even the simple plains can be explored and the environment is actually pretty amazing. Of course, you also have your main town where you start with, and visiting the town allows you to build directly in the town. Your workers will start building the buildings you place, and this will take some in-game time. The timer can be sped up or just run casually if you want to explore a tile. Moving around can take quite some days too, as you will need to put your timer very high if you want to travel far. You can place farms, new towns, roads and outposts on the world map to help you grow your kingdom on the empty tile, and of course move around faster. You have 7 classes to choose from, each with a unique set of skills and enhancements. However, you can use the basic skill or weapon for each class. With your attributes to the side, you can determine which road you want to take, become a strong caster or a proficient sword and shield fighter. I tried several styles, and melee is at first really underpowered. Going in deep allows you to die really easy. However, mage and even ranger are pretty overpowered. Mage, especially when you start slinging fireballs, you pretty much stunlock the enemy, preventing the enemy to get to you or even shoot back. Naturally, I would go for that. Small side effect is that you can command an army. This army can be trained in your town and then be transferred to become your personal fighters, which you can move around with F2 to F4. They become both a perfect meat shield, and once you start casting your fireballs, also a perfectly cooked meat shield, because they definitely can take damage from your spells. Since they don't seem to care who hits them, it's not really a problem. Of all the 7 classes, the warrior spirit class allows you to build some passive bonuses for each class that doesn't really seem to be a class, so taking in the focus, for example, from that class and specializing it further into elemental seems to be a very good combination. Then comes research and town building. Research allows you to unlock bonuses for your kingdom, but more importantly unlock new buildings, and the first unlock of each tree is the most important, which makes it smart to at least take the first research and the first of each next branch as much as possible. For example, these bandits drop items that can be melted in the blacksmith, but the blacksmith also comes with an amazing shop where you can sell and of course buy new gear. But for this I need to unlock it first by researching metallurgy. Also in random villages and plains you might be able to sell stuff. This will unlock tons of buildings, and every building can be visited and can contain, for example, chests you can store things in. I haven't figured out how to delete buildings, made a few mistakes here and there that I cannot seem to fix. You can talk to pretty much everyone in your town and they can give you directions for your current quest. They talk a language, and I've been counting words and trying to recognize strings, but so far I'm not sure if they just talk gibberish or they actually created a sim-like language. Please let me know in the comments if you know more about that. Going in RTS mode will allow you to build. Pressing and holding control will function as a toggle to rotate buildings. Defeating enemies will drop loot, and tons of it, so ideal for loot hoarders. You could stockpile all the loot in one of the houses in a chest, but for now I would focus on just looting the good stuff. Dying itself will not leave much of a penalty. On the world map you can always select yourself with the spacebar, which is really handy. This game took on all the genres and added it to one game, which is incredibly commendable and ambitious, but you will spend 10% of your time in loading screens because of it. From time to time enemies will try to attack you on the world map, but they are generally weak early on and provide free loot. Based on your manpower you can hire troops from your town to help you gain more army power, and they become better as time progresses. This will mainly help you if you want to automate fights, as in manual fights you'll do most of the hard work yourself. But of course you can loot all the enemies. You can use the transfer button to transfer them to your personal army, but the town will be undefended if you take all of them. The game has still some bugs and vague things I somewhat regret they didn't take out before going to full release. For example, I was clearing a cave and I tried to interact with a node, tried to gather the resources from it, and then the game randomly decided that they might as well bug out every node in the entire cave, causing me just to stare at them and not be able to select them for a few seconds. Added to that, NPCs are really stupid. Pathfinding gets them stuck often, especially in close quarters, leaving you to fend for yourself. But then the enemy is equally stupid, so it's quite easy to get away. The environment is pretty good, but it's quite a heavy game, and I think it could benefit from some optimization. Switching between ultra and low barely makes a difference in loading time and also how much assets are being loaded. Overall, I think the game has a great amount of potentials, but it's definitely still a beta. It shouldn't be a full release at this point. I think there are still way too many bugs and things that don't make sense. Regardless of that, I had a great experience and I definitely want to play it again. I hope this helps you a little bit understand the game and make up your mind whether you want to buy it or not. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you want more of these reviews, and I'll see you in the next review. Thank you very much for watching.